Hopefully by tomorrow I won't feel sick, and then we can do a proper stream at a proper time. I thought about doing this at
Yeah.
6, but I was like, I don't feel like I'm up to it.
No, yeah, when you feel sick, you should just take a break because you stream every day, and like before this, you were like streaming to like 5 a.m. and stuff. So, not the best for your health.
I try and keep it at check, but it does go past that sometimes.
If only.
I mean, it's kind of hard.
Of course.
So, hey guys, today's stream's just about discussions because really, I could do the two big maps right now, Lucina and Walheart. I still haven't done Walheart, by the way, because of I was sick. And then Lucina, well, Odin does 0 damage, of course. And then Lucina, of course, just came out today, so I'll leave that to tomorrow. But for today, I think the biggest thing we should cover is just, you know, opinions on all the new stuff. And I want to know what you guys think as well, because that's pretty interesting to know as well. So, we have a guest today. Of course, I think most people already know who it is. You know, that's like a cue to introduce yourself, dude.
Oh, hi. Oh.
Time for a swim.
Okay, it's Ether. I am feeling a bit better. I should be completely fine by tomorrow. Usually when I have this kind of sickness, it takes longer before I feel better, but it's been going pretty well. Is that paper?
Yes.
It says Brennan said it. I think this art is like pretty much what everybody wanted out of the band. Like, well, no, not necessarily wanted. Like, if you wanted Lucina, you would have probably wanted Summer Lucina, and this is probably like a rendition of Summer Lucina. I couldn't find any Legend of Lucina fan arts because it's way too early for that. To save all, friend and foe alike, without discrimination. To truly achieve this goal, perhaps all fighting in the world would have to cease. Of course, I am painfully aware of how outlandish a goal that is. Hey, Ether, doesn't the story kind of strike you as odd? Because they go from like story mode not having like as much dialogue, like entire chapter story mode doesn't even have as much dialogue as like, you know, one character conversation. So like they went from like story mode without a story to these Bond conversations that have more depth and build up. It just feels so awkward to me. Like it's just like so outlandish.
Yeah, because I guess because the game mode, maybe they were like people were like talking about it from the survey way long back time ago.
Yeah.
But like the entire game mode supposedly is focused around, you know, forging bonds, hence the name. So I guess they had to put a little more effort in to story.
I suppose that's true. But at this point, it feels like it's kind of dragging on. Because it feels like, it doesn't really feel like I'm having conversations with these characters. I feel like they're just lecturing me. Like, they're just telling me, this is my values. These are my values.
Yeah, it's pretty redundant.
and then it's like 2 conversations later, like, no, really, these are my values. Hear me out once more. I'm like, okay, well, thanks, dude. I already know what this is about. But yeah, Libra's like been bashing my head in with like what he wants to accomplish with saving like lives indiscriminately, regardless of sides and stuff. Like, okay, Libra, I get it. And yet, when I'm with you, I feel as though it may not be quite so impossible. And then they always like suck up to you. It's like, wow, you make everything possible. I'm like, okay, well, as summoner, I seriously doubt we've done much. Every day you put forth great effort to not only to end battles, but to do so with as few casualties as possible. That's mostly because I'm doing it in arena runs, right? When I see that side of you, it reinforces my own resolve to stay the course toward my dream. I may be alone in thinking this, but you and I may be headed in the same direction. If indeed we are, then let's walk together, one step at a time, no matter how many steps it may take. Until such a day that our wishes are granted. I wonder what guy reads or girl reads this conversation and thinks like, wow, I gotta go pro Libra now.
Who knows?
Yeah, like I appreciate this. I like this. It's good for the game, but they gotta give these guys more character and depth than like regurgitating the same things. Thanks, APG. Alright, so let's just get into it. I'm just gonna be grinding and forging bonds for next while. Actually, right before we start grinding Fortune Bonds. So this Anna is going to be really important for my tier 20 run. No tin, Brazen Attack Speed, Gale Force, Double Rally, Desperation, Drive Speed. She's going to be like used really often. So I think the only logical option of pairing her up is with Mass Marth. That way it's a red-green pairing, and both of them have a chance of being in the same arena team. So I think that's the best pairing. She has no support partner yet, so Mass Marth it is, I would say. My Mass Marth before this was paired with Summer Tiki, but you know that was more because of I like the idea of them being together, but yeah, that wasn't a really good pairing. Passler redeemed the hero view. Hey big boy, peep my unit which got me 738 x5 in arena. I know you love it, Kappa. It's gonna be Myrrh. I'll take my time. And thank you Ellis Kamui for the bits. Alright, real quick. The new update hasn't arrived yet, right?
Not yet. There's just the minor update for the legendary banner. That's it.
Alright. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. I really just want to not friggin' redo everything every stupid... Yeah. Redo all the skill sets and seals and everything every week for Arena Assault. That's been grinding my gears, dude.
No, yeah. It's just like super frustrating that for me like top literally just outside of my reach. It's ridiculously super sad. Like last week I got 5,187. I was like, I'm not staying in top 3k, and indeed I didn't by like 73 ranks. It's just like almost there, but not quite. And I can't really do anything because I'm using like 23, 24 blessings. Like I'm basically almost all out on scoring.
Right, now you just have to get lucky.
I just need my score range to go up.
Yeah, I mean lucky in summonings to get armor basically.
Like over the past few months I've gotten 2 Noes and I'm just like, really? That entire time and I've only gotten 2 Noes.
I actually find that kind of incredible how you're so bad with Noes.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully
when I try to summon for Takumi, it doesn't take all my orbs.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, I have my Azura paired up with Tharja. Jesus, I haven't been using my Tharja at all. Azura Tharja, that's actually not a bad combination. Oh, that really sucks. I should be using those two a lot more. But that's one of the good things with bond grinding, that you can just level up these heroes. I'm already thinking of a great team for Nana. I'm thinking of using Nana, Legendary Lin, Bridal Ninian, because they're all, and then I'll just put tactics on everybody.
Yeah, you could do that. Finally using tactics.
It's just like making a tactics team is kind of awkward.
Yeah, because like if you're doing it for arena, your bonus unit is basically always infantry, so you can only ever have one other infantry unit.
You'll have to be a red hero to accompany Legendary Lin. So I think Lucina. Lucina's my overall best hero remaining. Plus attack Lucina with 6 extra speed. Yeah, it'll have to be Lucina. So I'll pair Legendary Lin with Lucina. Brave Ike is also available, but I don't think that's... Legendary Ike is also available, but I don't think that's a good combination. Alright, I'll go with Lucina.
I've noticed on the streams, like, there's always one mixer viewer. Who is it?
I don't know. I think it's Pasta. I think it might be Ranmex. I definitely think it's one of the other. But yeah, that's all I can figure out. I'm not actually sure who it is. Mixer has been really wonky. No, seriously, am I blind? I'm pretty sure I just passed her a couple times.
Looking for who?
Oh, there she is. It kind of switched things up. This way, speed tactic and defense tactic on Nana is really being used well. Speed tactic on Lin, defense tactic on Nana, both really support Lucina, who needs the buffs because she doesn't have a actually good build. Yeah, this is actually not a good build, I would say. It's not ideal, but it's fine. She's plus attack, so extra 6 speed, 42 with darting blow is going to be really useful. Not to mention extra 6 defense. That's minus defense plus attack. Anyways, enough about that. Okay, so I actually wanted to make a video on the new legendary Lucina and my thoughts on her, but I think I should make like 2 videos on that. Number one, like, I'm kind of divisive, as everybody probably saw with the release of the video itself and how many people panned it. Like, how many people like disliked the video purely off of the reveal of it being legendary Lucina. I think it's the best idea is just to keep like my opinion out of it and just look at the character for now. So right now, let's just talk about Lucina in terms of like stats and skills and what do you think about it. So Ether, like we had a short discussion about it. Like, what do you think about the new legendary Lucina?
Like, personally, so when we all first got Legendary Lin, the main thing we were hoping is she would be able to kill blue units.
Oh shoot, I forgot to go drop that dislike. BRB Kappa.
Okay,
DSA. Yeah, most people did drop a dislike. But yeah, go on, Ether.
But yeah, so Legendary Lin, even like when you had a plus attack Lin, wasn't scoring that many kills, and that's just because her base attack is super low. And so with Lucina, now we have her bow. Every time she attacks a melee unit, she gets +4 to all stats. She has 3 more base attack than Legendary Lin, and she comes with Swift Sparrow, so just straight off the bat, she's technically going to be better offensively. And I already like ran the calcs when the trailer first came out, so I already knew like she was gonna do all right. Of course, it's a legendary unit, so they can't make her too overpowered because then that would be more pay-to-win base. Yeah, the weapon only works if she attacks in sword, axe, lance, or dragonstone unit.
Let's go.
So, but yeah, like at +0, if you give her a Hone attack buff, she has enough attack to 1-round KO Zelgius, assuming she doesn't die from the counter attack. But if you look at her bulk, it's pretty good as well. She has 36 HP and 25 defense, and if she's fighting a melee unit, that's another 4 defense. So she has a respectable offensive bulk to tank a single hit. And then if you give her something like Desperation, she also has a good amount of speed because her weapon gives her +3 speed too. So just overall, she's a lot better off offensively than Lin. And of course, like right now from the summer banner, Summer Young Tiki's running around. So she's also like good for beating most Tikis. Like, there's some ways you can get Summer Young Tiki to beat Lucina, but we don't talk about that.
Okay, so
yep. And then she has her legendary assist skill, which is just really good. It's basically power creeps, quote-unquote power creeps, all the movement assists except smite and half of shove.
I'll defeat you.
well, I guess the best thing to do is like fully to recap what she is first, and I guess that's like where we should have started. Yeah. And before we like go into opinions, just to set everybody on the same page, like, if we're gonna do the Legendary Lyn versus Legendary Lucina comparison, I think it's kind of a bit messy because whereas, okay, first of all, I don't like either the fact that either of them are colored archers. Colored archers I think are just so unnecessary in the game when you think about it because you already have the colorless pool being as weak as it is, right? So if we think about the best 5-star locked heroes in the colorless pool, you basically go to Legendary Grima, which isn't accessible most of the time. You go to Brave Lyn. Is there anything else? Because then outside special heroes, which we shouldn't really be talking about, because like I get like, okay, I guess there's Hinoka, but outside of like Legendary Grima, then you think about like, you know, Bridal Cordelia, then you think about Summer Takumi, then you think about Summer Lyn. You know, those are all special heroes, so we can't really talk about them in the same vein of things. So basically you just look at, you know, Brave Lyn, friggin' right, Grima, and then Legendary Grima, and then you look at Hinoka. That's it, right? What else is there in the colorless pool for archers? I mean, else is there in general for the colorless pool, right? Not much.
I mean, there's like most of the dagger units have been demoted to 4 stars, so it's like mostly healers like Jenny. I mean, Elise still, even though like Maribel helps reset pipe.
Oh, thanks, Anonymous.
It's been a long time. Here's to hoping that I stick around even longer. PogChamp.
13 months. Thank you so much, Anonymous. But yeah, you're definitely right. I mean, look, when we talk about the colorless pool, it's already by far the weakest pool, alright? So I, by default, disagree with having any colored archers, because the colorless pool cannot afford to lose out on these characters. Now, with Japanese game laws and things like that, it's too late. Like, they're always going to be colored archers nowadays. What they can do is keep making colorless archers, but they haven't been, right? Well, I guess they have been, but like, I'm more interested in normal pullable heroes being, you know, available there, or, you know, legendary heroes. At least that way, every month or a couple of months, you'll have another chance at them. So by default, Lucina doesn't fit that criteria, and I just don't like it from that perspective. But if we ignore all of that and you just look at like her bow, Thone, it's a great bow. Speed +3, along with attack speed, defense res +4 during combat, as long as you initiate anyways, against sword, lance, axe, or dragonstone. That's really, really useful. That's like a big portion of the meta, right? Sword, lance, or axe. If you're in tier 20, you're fighting a lot of armor heroes anyways. Sword heroes, especially infantry sword heroes, she'll do great against because she'll have like extra attack, extra speed, well, extra everything. But so she can hold her own against the fastest of sword heroes basically by default, thanks to Thone, as long as she initiates anyways. Future Vision is amazing. It's basically swap and dance at the same time, and as Ether said, you know, it expands your attacking range immensely, which is really, really helpful. She comes with Swiss Barrow, a great A skill, so you don't even have to spend on an A skill. Like Ether knows, I know, getting just friggin' Fury is already infuriating enough. Swift Sparrows from a whole bunch of heroes, right? Like Brave Lyn, like WT Owen. But again, it's not that easy to get skills, so to have a great A skill is nice. Wings of Mercy on B, you know, it's kind of whatever. Ultimately, I think you'll go for Desperation, but, you know, still a nice skill to have, not to mention it's worth 240 points. And then Distant Guard, which is a really unique and interesting ability. Basically, as long as you're within 2 spaces, you get, you know what,
Distant Defense 2.
Yeah, Distant Defense 2, right? That's really good. So her skills are amazing. And then when you look at her stats, she's also still really, really good because she has 34 attack, 35 speed base, which just puts her basically on par with Cordelia, Bridal Cordelia, which is 35. So Bridal Cordelia has 1 more attack, but Lucina has a better base bow, which also gives her 3 speed, and not to mention, you're not going to want to switch off her base bow is what I'm saying. And not to mention when attacking, she has a big advantage. Her defense is fine at 25, her res is okay at 20, her HP is pretty decent at 36, right? Like, she's a fine, good hero. And then you add to the fact that as a legendary hero, she is wind and she boosts speed. That's really, really good because so far, I believe wind has only been Rez from what was Legendary Lin?
Legendary Lin?
What does she
I
boost?
think is attack.
Okay, attack from Lin and Res from Gunthra. So yeah, Lucina's a pretty good mixture to put in there. Also, did you notice that with Wind, you have 2 archers? What's with that?
Intelligent systems doing whatever they want.
I know, it's so strange, man. Either way, she's a great hero, so I think what we should be talking about, therefore, is like what she's really good at. And as you mentioned, she could take on even a hero like Zelgius, but I personally think that's kind of awkward. Now, I think you've given Legendary Lin too little credit, because I think Legendary Lin fits in the meta quite well, actually. There's a lot of blue mages. Now, from our perspective, at the higher end of tier 20, maybe it's not as applicable. But for everybody else, well, especially the lower tiers where you fight a lot of blue mages, I think she does a slightly better job, because as a green archer going up against a blue mage, I think that's like the most ideal situation. Whereas red mages are the rarest. I don't even think at lower tiers you really bump into red mages. So obviously, for Lucina to attack, say, a Katarina or a Tharja who naturally has lower defense, that's the ideal situation. But that doesn't happen very often. Instead, her most likely opponents are red infantry, which is still a good matchup, but not perfectly ideal, because if you look at like, Mia or Ira, that's like 30-something defense, and if you look at like Zelgius or at like the Black Knight, Arden or something, that's a freakishly high amount of defense. So even though yes, depending on the situation you'll get the kill, it's not as ideal, right? So for that reason, like, she doesn't fit in the meta as well as Legendary Lin, I would say, but thanks to her bow, she does fit into the other criterias, versus dragons, versus dagger heroes, I believe was included, right? No, it was sword, lance, axe, or dragon. So alright, so she just does better against she'll have help there, but for example, if you have her attack, say, into a FE or something, how well is that going to actually go?
Like, not too well.
Yeah. And
with
obviously,
like a special proc, she can definitely score some kills on blue units, but at base, she just doesn't have enough base attack to punch through the tanky blue units.
And what about green units, Because it's physical, because axe heroes typically are armored, unless you're facing against a Raven, they're generally going to have a shit ton of armor, right? How's that going to go? It's like there's
doesn't go well. It's just like your normal weapon triangle. You normally won't have your green or your blue unit deal with green units. Like, you don't have your Noe try to tank a legendary Hector or something.
Right. No, I don't disagree with that. It's not ideal, but when we're looking at like the certain matchups, like, I can't just say like, all she should do is fight infantry. That's kind of really like red infantry. It's kind of awkward. But again, that's really starting to nitpick, because she's obviously going to be great against dragons as well, especially with like how freaking Noes are in the meta. But even then, how does she do against like a steady breath Noe?
What are you thinking?
Depends on the set. If Noe has lower defense, there's a good chance that Lucina can actually two-shot if you give her some attack buffs, because with 34 base attack, and assuming all her standard buffs are active, she'll have 56 attack, so it's not quite enough to two-shot Noes, but you can like give her a special, like, I don't know, moonbow or something, and she could definitely take him out. Or you could do something like Flashing Blade Luna and also pick up a one-round KO. Like, there's options for her. At base, it's pretty good.
Time for a swim.
Because what I'm concerned with is like, you go into these because okay, just to phrase this a bit better, from our perspective, where she's only going to be an arena assault hero, right? Where Ether and I at most are only going to get like one copy of her, and if we get a second copy, chances are she's Swift Sparrow fodder, all right? Like, Wait, is this card fodderable?
Yeah, it is because
Okay.
it has a number, so it's inheritable.
Sure.
And just while we're talking about that, I as Paper DM'd me on Discord. Distant Guard gives your allies within 2 spaces +4 defense or res whenever you're just facing a
I'll
ranged
defeat you.
unit, basically.
Oh,
So it's
yeah.
it's not entirely distant defense 2, but it's close enough.
Okay. That's it. Well,
Onward.
that's even
Because
better.
like close counter mages and stuff, you'd get the
Done.
+4 defense and res.
That's a really interesting way of looking at it. But yeah, that's really good. Okay. Now I know what I said sounds a bit negative. Don't get me wrong. I think she's still excellent. I just don't think, just when we're doing a direct comparison to Lin, I don't think it fits the meta quite as well. Though don't get me wrong, I don't feel like Lin fits the
Time for a
meta well
swim.
anyways, because
Let's go.
she also has the awkward moment of where
Gotta
she's
stay
like,
on guard.
how does like Lin deal with armor heroes? She really doesn't. Like even when she's up against Effie or something, she struggles, right? Or like, or if she goes up against, basically she's just anti-blue mages, but at least she has the thing going for her that like blue mages are actually fairly common. But yeah, outside of that, I just feel like she's an excellent hero, but she should have been colorless. If Lucina was colorless, now it does hurt her in some respects, but I feel like it would have overall been much better. Because that way, sword, lance, or axe, she would have much more even matchups, and I really don't feel like it would have hindered her in any significant way. Now, I guess if you're fighting like, you know, Zelgius or like the highest level of where you could have had a weapons triangle advantage, that would affect you, but in general, I feel like if she was just colorless, it would have been better off. And I haven't summoned for Legendary Lucina yet, but I do plan on summoning for it. But I'll talk about that in a moment. Anyways, just to sum it up, she's an excellent hero. I just think it's kind of awkward for her to be in the game. That's not even speaking about the fact that I don't think anybody was looking forward to, you know, a Legendary Lucina. You guys have seen the video and how many dislikes are there. But yeah, what I see her as is a really good option for killing some dragons, especially red dragons. Really good option for killing infantry sword heroes. Pretty good option against lancers. Outside of armored ones like FE, if it's against a FE or something, which is among the most common lancers. Lancers are actually pretty rare, if you think about it. So, in general versus lancers, I don't really think, especially in our case where we're in like top 5k, top 3k arena, that's really pushing it for her limits. So, and obviously let's not even bother talking about greens, because green heroes are typically high defense anyways, and she would have to really rely on special. So do you disagree with that? Like, what do you think she's going to be good at? What she should be doing?
Lucina?
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, I was randomly
What
lucky
are you
enough
thinking?
to free
Yes,
summon her. I got plus defense minus res, and defense happens to be a super boon, so I can use her like in arena assault, but otherwise,
Sure.
like points wise, you could get her to score pretty well in arena, but she's a legendary unit, so you're only gonna see her every few months on legendary banners. So you have to, if you're free to play, you have to save up a crud ton of orbs
Onward.
to try and get 11 copies so she scores well.
I
So like
cannot.
feasibly like getting one of her is, if you have her, it's cool. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. But
Gotta stay
I'll
on guard.
definitely be using her for arena assault. Because like being able to handle red units definitely helps, especially when you see stuff like Summer Young Tiki, like almost every arena assault match, or you see Zelgius or things. Because like
Time for a
giving her
swim.
an attack, she still needs an
Done.
attack buff to kill Zelgius, but she can do it, and that's really what matters for me.
Like, I can't suggest anybody make a +10 version of her.
Yes.
I think you said of something very interesting that I didn't think about earlier, which was the fact that, oh, I guess the buff wore off. Okay, you said something really interesting about the fact that she could score as high as Noe, but she would have to be using close counter at +10.
Yeah.
That's mostly because of, her unique assist skill and unique weapon, whereas Noe doesn't have those things available. Even though Noe would have much higher BST, they actually come out basically the same. So that's a really interesting perspective. So technically she is an option. Oh, and before anybody gets the wrong idea, in that case it would be a plus defense Lucina, so it's not ideal, right? But
I mean, if you wanted to go ham on defense, yeah, because it's a super boon, but it's not necessary. She has 150 BST.
wait, I thought she would drop on 150 if she didn't have the super boon.
No, she has at base 150. So
Okay,
with
then
plus defense, she would hit 151.
Okay, so it doesn't matter at all then.
She has no super boon, so there's no way you can get her to score lower.
Okay, so never mind. That doesn't matter at all what IVs you have. If anything, you should go for like the typical IVs that you're looking for. In her case, what IVs would you even suggest?
I mean, there's so many options, but if you're gonna try to run close counter optimally, you'd probably go either plus defense or plus speed, depending on how your team buffs, because 35 base speed, like, some of us were like hoping for 36 since previous Lucinas had 36 speed at base, but she only has 35, so that plus 10 with close counter. She only has 39 speed, which basically means in tier 20 she's gonna get doubled a lot. So you could go plus speed, or you could just compensate by buffing for speed in your team and just run plus defense.
If I only had power.
I know. Jeez, Wings of Mercy with that conjunction.
Lunge OP, guys.
Okay. Anyways, she's a great hero. It's just I didn't ask for this, man. What else am I supposed to say about it?
No, yeah, like, for the people who've been paying attention to who's been legendary heroes, there's like a current trend where
Yes.
we're alternating between 2 females and 2 males, and so we just had our 2 male rotation, so the legendary hero for this banner couldn't have been male if they're planning to stick to that trend, and so we're assuming the next legendary hero is going to be also another female, so for anyone who's hoping Ulm's the next one, you're probably gonna have to wait.
The actual trend I've been told, there are 2 trends. 2 females, 2 males, well, whatever, it doesn't, well, right now we're on the 2 females portion of it. And the other trend is this: the most recent non-special hero banner that comes out will dictate, like the chapter banner will dictate which side of the game they're from.
Yeah, that's what someone on Reddit posted that, I think.
So that's actually really telling of which heroes we'll get. But again, ultimately, when it comes to Legendary Lucina, what you have is a great hero. Is just if it wasn't
it's just
Lucina,
awkward.
if it wasn't Lucina, is what I have to say. But I guess it's like inescapable now to talk about your opinions on it being Lucina, the legendary hero being Lucina. Actually, I should probably start that off because I want to preface this because I want everybody to understand when IS decides on a hero, it's not like, oh, herp derp, like it's been 3 weeks. We've decided on a new hero. It's been done. No, it's not nearly that quick. To find an artist, to find a voice actor, to actually like scale and design the hero, that will take months, right? Some people think it'll take like even a year. I seriously doubt it will take a year, but it takes a feasibly long amount of time. All right, that's very understandable. But with all that said, this game has been out for a year and a half, right?
Yeah, basically at this point.
Right. So it's not like they don't know fans are not looking for more Fates and Awakening. If anything, it's been triggering a lot of backlash to constantly have Fates and Awakening, right? So it's to just blow it off as like, oh yeah, IS planned this ahead of time. There was no way they could have done anything about this. I call bullshit. I'm pretty sure they could have done something about this. Now, that's not my personal opinion on this, alright? To be honest, I don't really care that much if it's Fates or Awakening. I can't pretend I dislike Lucina, or, you know, you guys know how much I like Mass Marth, alright, for example. And you know how happy I was to get Lucina. So it's not like I dislike Lucina. Well, I think she's kind of plain, but that's another point for another time, I guess.
Yes?
She's not a bad, she's not, like, it's not, I just want to say I don't dislike her, but at the same time, there are just basically two kinds of legend heroes I don't like in the game, and it's when they make completely original characters, when they could be putting in other characters. Like, for example, one of my favorite legendary heroes is legendary Grima, right? I feel like that's really, really cool. Number one, they say it's a legendary hero, but that's clearly not a hero. Number two, it's like, to have that version of Robin is immensely cool. Not to mention the animations and everything is cool. With Lucina, it reminds me a lot about Legendary Lyn. Now, granted, Legendary Lyn's like more defensive, and Legendary Lucina's more offensive. But they're both, you know, wind heroes. They're both colored bow heroes. They're both like another variation of a hero with a lot of copies. I believe this is the 5th Lucina, depending on how you look at Mass Marth. I believe it's, you know, Spring Lucina, Normal Lucina, Brave Lucina, Mass Marth, and then finally this Lucina, right? So that's 5, along with like 5 Lyns. Like, and with Lyn's backlash, it's obviously like not really what people are looking for as well. So yeah, if this was any other hero, I think it would be much more celebrated. But instead they went with like, okay, herp derp, let's go with a main heroine, because, you know, everybody would love that. Let's go with a colored archer, even though nobody's really asking for colored archers. And then she's really good at the very least. They made her really good. But I just wish it wasn't Lucina, personally.
But yeah, another thing is just also the art. Like, if you look across alts, a lot of the units have the same art, basically. Some people are like just complaining based on that. Like, if you're gonna make them an alt, at least, you know, give them some different art, even if it doesn't have a reference to their games, because it's just like
Lazy.
you're basically literally seeing a reskin of the same art with a different title and skill set and maybe class.
This really does feel like a reskin. Like, even her attack animation reminds me a lot of Lyn. Is it actually different? I'm now going by it through memory, but is it actually different?
I don't know, because I kind of always have animations off to save time.
Alright, well, I think it's a teleportation, and then the arrow comes from below, so...
I don't think they're the same. If I remember from a video I watched like a few hours ago, I think Lucina does a backflip or something to grab the bow. I don't remember.
Okay, sure. I mean, it's really similar. I guess you can't make it... Oh, crap. I guess you can't do it too differently, but... Look, Hinoka did a backflip too. Like, whatever.
Time for a swim.
It doesn't really... Okay, look, it seriously doesn't matter that much to me. It's just, I wish they kind of tried a bit harder and went with another hero, is what it comes down to. And this is coming from somebody who likes Lucina, who likes Mass Marth, who likes, you know... I just... I'm kind of surprised IS really thinks this is the way to
Stay
go.
on guard.
I guess it's just part of their marketing gimmick, because people keep playing the game in hopes their favorite unit's gonna show up in the game. So they're trying to buy literally as much time as they can, but I feel like they might go too far and, you know, push their
What are
luck
you
for
thinking?
way too long, and people will just start quitting because their favorite units aren't showing up in the game.
Right, and that goes back to like what people have been asking for, like beast units and things like that. We're just not getting anything, which really sucks, because the thing is, Fire Emblem's really diverse. There's no need, not at this point, to make alternative, like the 5th alternative of hero when like there's not even one copy of another hero yet, you know? So
Yep.
for very obvious reasons, people are upset. I don't blame people at all, and if
I guess like the epitome of it is like Marth. Like, he's a well-known unit to
Mhm.
people who aren't even familiar with Fire Emblem, and he has a single ult.
Right. That really makes no sense to me. Like, for a lot of people, Marth was their introduction point to Fire Emblem. Uh, I know people want to
Time for a
pretend
swim?
that everybody
What
got
are you
into
thinking?
Fire Emblem via Fire Emblem, but I would say most people got into Fire Emblem via Smash. Like, that was the first experience they had with seeing Marth, and that's what got them interested. Like, when Marth was first put in the game, North America presence for Fire Emblem was really low, if not non-existent. I'm actually not sure anymore. But he really spiked up the interest after he came into North America, into Europe. So for such a like well-celebrated hero to not get a chance is really silly. So far, there's only been one copy of him, normal
Yeah.
Marth, and then the special heroes version, which is the given away Groom Marth, which at the very least I think he's a great hero. Ignore the budget build on him for me, but I think he's a pretty good hero. Anyways, that just like adds to the complexion of the situation. But yeah, what do you guys think about Legendary Lucina? I'm just talking about Legendary Lucina in the game. We've already discussed Legendary Lucina as a hero, which is incredibly positive because I think she's excellent. Though again, I feel like she would have been better off being colorless, but it's kind of awkward to have blue archers. Well, not that awkward, especially with how her bow works. She'll work fine in general, but jeez, I don't like colorless. I don't like colored archers. It's basically that's
Sure.
my look at it.
Yeah, honestly though, like if
Yes.
Lucina was colorless, her matchups would be incredibly reliant on specials, which it's not a terrible thing since accelerating specials is a huge part of the meta, but it's like at tops I think she gets like 56 attack, so if she were colorless then like she'd probably never be able to beat Zelgius, for example. Like being a colored archer is good and bad, of course, because you have the weapon triangle. But just units having their niche like that, for me, is good enough. Like, I'm just not surprised when, you know, a unit gets another ult, just because that's probably marketing. So I don't really mind it, because again, for people who've been watching Nim streams for a while, I've said that I only got into Fire Emblem from this game, so I don't really know much about the actual mainstream games. So for me, I'm just kind of like, when things happen, I'm just like, okay, and go with it. Because eventually, they are going to release new units. It's not like
But they're
every
dragging their
single
foot.
banner. Yeah, they're definitely pushing it, but at least, you know, the summer banner we got Noir, even though it's not necessarily the unit people are looking for. At least every banner isn't an ult spam banner.
Okay, well, if they did that, I think they're literally taking a shit on fans. There's a guy called Quit FEH.
Yeah, there's plenty of funny names.
If you guys have like checked your friends list, like some of my friends have gone out of their way to show their dislike of the newest banner, and I don't blame them. But look, they really should be pushing out new heroes, fresh heroes. Is there really nobody in Awakening that could have been suitable as a legendary hero? Like,
Who's
did
a
they have to be
female?
so
Yeah.
desperate to throw in Lucina again, but make her a blue archer? Because I know it has to be a blue hero, but did they have to do it like that?
Should have been Naga.
Should have been Naga. Okay, that's a bit maybe that's a bit early. I feel like for major heroes, well, I guess with Grim, all right, maybe not, but okay, sure. I feel like yeah, go ahead.
Maybe they're just reserving the like legendary hero title to like, I have no idea, quote unquote main characters or villains. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the series, so I don't entirely. I know like Lynn is a main character, I think. And,
Yes,
like
she is.
Hector and company. So like, so far
I would
from
have
what I've
liked Emblem,
seen,
although
it
the cover
makes
doesn't
sense
fit.
what they've been doing, sort of. But like from Awakening, I don't know the game, so how many female main characters are there?
Look, I just. Alright, I just don't think. Alright, I never finished Awakening, so admittedly, I don't know for certain, like, if there's that many great options there. Like, I've played Awakening, I just haven't finished it. So I can't speak too much about it, but at the same time, I just don't feel like. We can't seriously be telling ourselves. When there's a lot of Awakening characters that have not even been released in the game, like, I just don't believe. Now, maybe fitting legendary criteria is pretty difficult, but I just don't feel like this game has gone into the need of a 5th version of the same character. Not yet. And especially for a game, even though Fates and Awakening has been getting a lot of attention, for example, like Sumiya just came along and it's been a year and a half, right? There's a lot of characters that they could be putting in the game is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, they have plenty, but I don't know, maybe it's just the way they've structured the game, maybe it's, I don't know. They're just kind of doing whatever at this point. We can't even predict the next Fire Emblem game they're going to make a new Heroes banner for. At least not that I know of.
It's kind of getting hard to comprehend. I'm not gonna argue too much about it. It's just overall, I guess to sum things up, I'm kind of disappointed that it was Lucina. If you got, I've talked about this before, but one of you guys actually made a really good guesstimation. The person who picked up on the patterns first. First of all, the person who picked on patterns recognized it had to be a blue hero. Of course, I think most people knew that, but they also picked up on the pattern of two males, two females, like going by double genders. So they knew it had to be girl. So I guessed it was going to be Micaiah, and I thought Micaiah would just make a lot of sense. But they also picked up on the banner portion of where it was going to be. I believe it was Casey, but they picked up on the banner portion where it had to be from the same series as the banner itself. So like, in their eyes, they might have said it as a jokingly manner, but they said it was going to be Bo Lucina, and they were right. And I cannot express like how sad I am that they were actually right. It's just I hold IS to a higher standard than this. The thing is, like, when did Legendary Lyn come out anyways? It's been a while, but when did she come out?
Ooh, I want to say like 4 months ago, but I have no idea.
I predicted it before it happened. I can show you the message I sent someone several hours before the banner released.
Okay. Severe, you might have been able to do it too. A lot of people probably could have done it. But my entire point is, this wasn't. Now, I'm not gonna pretend like this game has to like be perfectly to my taste, but I'm just saying, like, with the backlash on Lyn and with how much time they had in between, maybe it's not the best time to do this release, right? Maybe they could have pushed it back. Maybe marketing or somebody should have done something, because this was definitely not the right time for it. Again, with the negative feedbacks on the like and dislike ratio on the video itself, on both Lyn and Lucina. Not to mention the new Awakening banner had a pretty bad like to dislike ratio as well. It's a pretty clear message, but you know, IS doesn't really care.
Yeah, Lyn showed up about 3 months ago, so...
3 months ago, right. Now, I understand, like, with banner planning and stuff, it's really hard to just shift things, but still. It feels like there's no need to be this desperate, but they went for it. The thing is, I don't think it will get better. I don't think it really just comes down to I don't believe IS cares. All right. The game has been out for a year and a half. These things shouldn't keep happening. Year one, I can understand. I can understand because Fates and Awakenings are their most recent biggest games. Echoes was pretty popular as well, which kind of surprises me that Echoes wasn't getting as much popularity. But you know, it is a rehash. It is a remaster. I don't really know what to call it. But it's a redo of an older game, sure. So maybe that's the reason. But fans haven't liked the Fates and Awakening spam since then. But IS, so going into year two, you know, the expectation was for IS to learn something there. But evidently, even with all the time and extra time they had to plan for things, they didn't seem to care. So now we're at this position, which is a really awkward position, because for veterans of this game through all this time, especially people who have been fans of the game for a long period of time, it's really hard to be content with how things are. So it's disappointment, and with how much time and how many things have happened since the start of this game, it just basically tells us, like, don't hope for more. Don't hope they'll learn the lesson. Don't just.
What do you decide?
Ultimately, I guess the only real way to show IS is to not spend orbs on the banner, but I can't even do that much,
Who dies first?
unfortunately. And Ether, how many orbs did you commit to the banner so far?
Yes.
15 and I'm done.
The game
15.
It's
Wow.
my
Wait,
turn.
I just did a full circle and I'm out.
you actually got Legendary Lucina in 15?
No, I got her free summon. Yeah,
Oh
that's what I
God.
said.
Okay, that's even
There were
better.
3 blue orbs. I was like, this one. And then it was Lucina. I was like, okay. And then everyone else was like, random fodder.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I summoned for. That's the only reason why I went full circle.
Okay. Now, most of you guys are right. Regardless of how people dislike it, they'll just keep playing the game. And I think probably the only way to show IS is to not spend orbs on the banner, but again, it's really hard to resist this banner. This is actually a really solid banner. But yeah, I mean, to just sum it up, like, that's the case with Lucina. I guess we'll have to deal with it. But about the banner itself, I think Ether and I already talked about it. But overall, I don't think this is actually a bad banner. So, Ether, you can go first with your top 5 from this banner.
So yeah, in no particular order because I'm bad at ordering.
Mhm.
I said Winter Lissa, Bo Hinoka, although that's like kind of tied with female Grima, whichever way you want to take it. Ishtar, the new Lucina, and Camilla.
That's, like, I really found your ordering here interesting. And you didn't change it, so that's really
Let's go.
respectable too.
Very well.
For me personally, we agree on 3 of the top 5 heroes, which is Ishtar, the new Lucina, Legendary Lucina, and Winter Lissa. I think that's really understandable because of, you know, those 3 are just excellent heroes. You tied Legendary Grima, which I really think is good because I still really highly value Legendary Grima as well. So my top 5 personally, if I had to rank it with 1 to 5. Now, I mean, when you guys hear about my opinions here, there's obviously gonna be disagreements because everybody has different values, like even perspectives. Like my perspectives as a free-to-play player, so their base kits matter more to me. To a whale, for example, their base kits might not matter at all, right? So with like a hero like, you know, Hinoka, she's really, really good, or like a Legendary Ryoma, they're really, really good heroes, but you might just end up replacing all their skills because, you know, those skills don't actually fit those characters that well. So that's something that I would consider that maybe not another person would consider, for example. So obviously there's going to be disagreements. But with that said, so we can finally get into the top 5, I would rank it so it is number 1, I have Ishtar. Because I think Ishtar is the best blue mage in the game. Somebody might disagree, but she has like the killing power of, say, a Reinhardt, but she's not defensively infirm. Like Reinhardt, I think virtually anything in the game will kill Reinhardt. If he doesn't have support of any sorts, like summoner support or like fortified calves or like ward calves or something, he's basically boned. Anything should kill him. I've seen red mages kill him. I've seen like red infantry kill him. I've seen absolutely everything kill him. All right, he's great for killing, not great for much else. But Ishtar doesn't really have that problem to that degree. She's slightly better defensively. I'm not gonna say she's like amazing defensively, but she can actually take a hit from somebody.
To be fair, I got Legendary Ryoma as a free summon. My K is better in my opinion. Can't change my mind. Pogchamp, Pogchamp.
Mikai's better in my opinion. Wait, what do you mean by that? But I do think Mikai is better than Legendary Ryoma. Mikai's role with anti-calves, armor is just a much better role.
As petals fall, shall we?
Anyways, so my ranking is number 1 Ishtar, number 2 Winter Lissa. People can disagree here with Winter Lissa, but Bold Fighter, by default, she's really good because she just has Bold Fighter, which allows her to, like, even though her attack and defense isn't that great, she can basically overwhelm a lot of enemy characters in this game. Wow, we don't kill.
Leave it to me.
She can overwhelm a lot of enemy heroes in the game. So she has a lot of really good... For me, I use Glacies on mine, but yeah, she can have instant special and she can just like steamroll most things she attacks. That's not to mention Bullfighter is a great fire skill. At number 3, I have Legendary Grima, and I place Grima over Legendary Lucina simply because she's still one of the fastest dragons. She's one of the most capable dragons in the game too. She could be defensive, she could be offensive. She's one of the fastest dragons. She comes with Dragon Skin, which gives her immunity to arrows as effective damage anyways. Exploration is still one of the best breaths in the game. She has, what was it called again? Her C skill, what was it called again? The Res Smoke. That's good. So she has like a lot of things going for her. She's not only good in a Fire Emblem team, but she's good, like excellent in a Dragon Emblem team. So she has really good compatibility in Emblem teams. Now I don't think you really need more than one, and she's not really like fodderable, but she's a great hero to have in any team. And number 5, I have it ranked as Brave Lyn. And I know people are gonna disagree here as well, but when it comes to Brave Lyn versus Hinoka, Brave Lyn has a better A skill, a better B skill. Her A skill Swiss Barrow, whereas Hinoka is like attack speed bond, which is really awkward to use offensively. Her Sasei's Blessing allows her to attack into distant counter heroes without getting shot back. Whereas Hinoka has like flower formation and flower, like 2 flower movement skills for B and C, right? Which is not as interesting or useful. And she comes with Draconic Aura, which is a fine special. Thanks, Vic.
Nemcheck. Your waifu Azura just completed the mission. Gave her job Azura.
Okay, I'll check that out. I meant comparing who's the best blue mage. I strongly that Mikai is better than Ishtar. Oh, that depends on how you view the meta, but I can... Holy crap, Vic. I don't completely disagree with people who might view it that way, but she's the best offensive mage by far. And depending on how you view the meta, whether you think offensive versus defensive, Micaiah has a lot more res and she's better defensively. And she's better in certain matchups, of course, thanks to her tome. So I'm not going to disagree, but I personally have Ishtar number 1. Anyways, as for what Vic sent in, this was what Vic sent in. You got a whole shit ton of Azuras. That's a lot.
Yep. That's what happens when people... This is one reason why some people don't really think this legendary banner is too good, because, like, sure, if you don't have Azura, it's cool to pull her for a dancer, but then once you keep pulling more copies, because that's how summoning works on legendary banners, then it gets awkward because merges don't exactly help her, because you're not likely to use her in arena late game. And she also doesn't have too much to fodder off. I mean, speed +3 and I think like fortify defense or something. Or res.
You're the guy who's saying not likely to use Azura in arena to the guy who actually used Azura in arena for like 4 months. Maybe even more than that.
But yeah, for like late game, you're not going to use her. For even
but yeah,
if you
late
got
game
her to +10.
Yeah, the game has passed the point where you can use a dancer in arena in late game for tier 20. But once upon a time, she was viable. So it was a long time ago. But basically, yeah. At this point, she's kind of a glorified dancer. Well, she's a singer, but refresher is the class, because really Olivia would do the same job, and there's a new Olivia available with that banner, which you should probably go for instead. Skull's a much better A skill weapon, flying, and you know, yeah, it's just not in her favor anymore. But you guys know I like Azura. Like, it's Just look around, like there's 2 Azuras, 3 Azuras, I guess technically in that picture, but yeah, I don't disagree with that though. Anyways, just to finish off what I was saying earlier about my top 5, my 5th hero is Bravelyn, and I like her better than Hinoka because of the fact that people forget a lot of times really because she's kind of old now, and she's kind of old, and people always like lose track of these things once a character gets old. Like they care more about the newer characters than the older characters, and they'll always rank them above. But people forget how good she is. With Muliger, against mages and stuff, she nullifies all the extra bonuses they have. She's great. That means she's great against any blade tome heroes, especially. She also has attack smoke, which is pretty decent for debuffing the entire enemy team. She comes with it. So, unlike Hinoka, which you would have to basically reset every skill she has, you would probably want Swiss Burrow on her, you would probably want a Desperation on her, and you would probably want, you know, Home Flyers or something else in her C skill. That's a lot of things to replace. Now, Warrior Princess Bow is actually really, really good. The drive attack, the extra effective damage against armored, you know, that's all very interesting and good. But ultimately, I go with Bravelyn just because she has more fodderable skills than Swiss Sparrow. Swiss Sparrow I value more highly, and in terms of bow, it's actually not that bad, especially when she can fight armor heroes without getting counterattacked. And Hinoka has this awkward situation where she doesn't necessarily kill them in one shot, and if she gets hit back, that could be the end of her. But yeah, that's how I view the top 5. If I had to like... Yeah, go ahead.
Let's go ahead, finish.
Yeah, and if I had to talk about any other like notable heroes, I would definitely say Azura if you don't have her already. She's pretty interesting. She's nice to have for arena subs or anything, but she's not important. There is also Legendary Ryoma, which I think is like probably the best offensive sword hero in the sky. People will argue Lincia, and I don't disagree. I think they're very comparable, but he definitely has a role to play. The new Chrom is also really good, but he's kind of awkward in the meta. I would rather go for Ares than him, but... And then, yeah, that's about it. I think Legendary Lynn's really cool and all, but I don't think anybody really needs her. So yeah, what did you have to say?
It's just because a long time ago, towards the beginning of the stream, 2 people redeemed hero reviews, and they haven't been done yet. And a few people have, like, redeemed Ask the Questions, and I don't know if you've answered them all yet.
Oh no, not yet. It's kind of hard to, guys, because like we're going over these things while I'm doing other things, so like it's hard to just break up all the flow right away. As for the questions, there's only one question I got, and it was from Gamers, and he literally asked me, what's your favorite flavor of bread, tap water or bottled water? So I'm not sure if you really want me to like answer that, because that's obviously not serious. And there was one hero review redeemed by Hinawina. We'll have to do that at the end of this though, which isn't very long from now, I suppose. Like in 10-20 minutes we'll do some hero views. So yeah, who actually asked you that question about like the redeemed questions? Because that was the only redeemed question.
No, just in general, because like...
Oh.
What next?
Right away.
All right.
Sorry if this is bothered to you, but I had to ask. My Legendary Ryoma has a plus attack, minus speed. Are they good IVs or no? Despite being one of the fastest heroes in the game, if you get minus speed, it just makes him average. So that's not good IVs. Is it a death sentence? No, because with flyer support, he'll be great anyways. But basically, only use him if you really want to use him. I basically never want to use a hero with the utmost worst IVs. My speed, I think, is always going to kill heroes that are speed-based. So, and he's a speed-based hero. Like, the best thing about him is that, you know, Raijinto has this encounter in Raijinto, and then he can, like, double with Desperation. Or if he uses Fire Sweep Sword, and then he doubles and uses Bushido. But yeah. For those things, he needs speed, so. Alright, so real quick. So what Ether and I agree on definitely for top 3 is Lissa, Ishtar, and Legendary Lucina. And then we have some agreement on Legendary Grima. And I guess the only heroes that we like don't really see eye to eye on is Camilla. So you should explain that too, why you put Camilla so high up.
You should add a redemption option to be a guest on stream.
Oh yeah, I should, Spear.
So for me, we know in 2.8 the meta is going in arena is going to be having mostly the Asker trio try to get as many kills on the enemy team's units as possible. So already New Year's Camilla with Katamatsu gives +2 defense and resistance to nearby allies. So if you're try-harding the arena system by going the heavy buff bot route with your team, then it's just a solid option. And also just her stat line, she might not be the best offensively, not technically the best defensively, but she's pretty darn good in the middle. And
Like it?
in old arena runs, I remember she was definitely a scary unit to face because she'd have a decent base speed and then she could get buffed for speed with like Hone Flyers, so she'd have high 40s in speed, so you might not be able to double. And she would have like over 40 defense and like over 30 res or something, so she's kind of like a super flexible unit in general. So that's just my reasoning, and she does have a bit for skill inheritance if you're like Pasta, or like Brennan. The bond skills are pretty good. And she has ward flyers, I believe, which
Right.
is not exactly a rare skill because Shiguri has it at 4 stars now, but just in general, she's a strong utility unit.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just feel like Brave Lynn at this point, I told him this earlier, but like, it's just like, you really don't need more than a copy of Brave Lynn,
Easy now.
unless you're trying to do something like
No.
make a Brave Lynn emblem or something to troll lower tier people in arena.
Don't hold this against
Because like, at base, her kit's already pretty good, so all the merges would do is help her with her bulk, which is definitely nice, but is it worth spending a crud ton of orbs to get 11 copies of her? I don't personally think so. It's like, sure, in the lower tiers arena, you see her a lot, and I guess you still see her with Reinhardt a lot. But later up, higher up in arena, it's a super rare occurrence. Because for one, she's a ranged cav, so she doesn't score as well as everyone else. But also, a lot of the units in higher tier arena have high defense stats, so they can just tank Brave Lynn nowadays.
But the thing is, she's really good in Arena Assault, and not necessarily everybody has her. And even if they do have her, they have the neutral version of her in general, because most people pick Brave Lynn as the free hero. And if you get a plus attack or plus speed version, it's usually a lot better to have. But that's not to mention she's great fodder for Swiss Barrels. So that's the reason why I put her above Hinoka, and that's the reason why I don't have Camilla there too. Like for me, I would have a lot of trouble putting Camilla there instead of Legendary Ryomo. But I get your point completely about Katamatsu. Like I do buff stacking like Grand Hero Battle runs with Myrrh, and you know Camilla plays a big part in that with Katamatsu and Ward Flyers, right? So it's not like I don't understand, it's just I don't think it's going to be that important immediately. But yeah, enough about that. Like, what do you think is thus the most important colors to, if you had to rank the colors in terms of priority, like how would you do it?
It probably depends on what you need and what you don't have, but in general, you could summon for blue And if you don't have Azura, summoning on blue isn't a terrible idea, because if you do get her, you have another dancer, singer for Arena Assault and just general game content. And then there's also Ishtar and the new Lucina, which is definitely good units you could pull if you're a newer player. Colorless, kind of the same deal with what I said about Brave Lynn. Like, if you don't have her because you didn't pick her for your free unit, which is totally reasonable,
Gotta stay on guard.
she's good to pull, and Bovinoka is good for skill inheritance if you're heavily investing to like a Fire Emblem team, or if you just need a decent unit who can slay some armored units. She's good in female Grima for, especially if you get merges up on her, she's definitely a strong unit too. Green, also pretty much the same deal. Like, there's Winter Lissa, who's a super solid unit, but my personal take on it is if you want Linter or Lissa, I would just wait for the
You're seriously gonna tell him to wait?
rerun of the Winter's Envoy banner from last year.
That's 4 months.
That's
4 months away,
yeah,
dude.
that's my take on it, because like, if you get Legendary Lyn, she's alright if you build like an enemy face set out of her, but if you don't really need her, it's just kind of like, you could fodder her for speed tactic, but for all we know, we could be seeing the unit with speed tactic at 4-star rarity eventually, so that could be a waste, and she's a legendary hero. And then Luna, stat-wise, she's kind of power creeped everywhere by other green mage calves. She still has like her niche because she has green gift plus, but it's definitely a niche weapon. She has attack tactic, but if you summon colorless a lot, you probably get Legault for attack tactic at 4-star rarity. And she has HP attack too, which is not exactly the most amazing A skill. You could like throw it on a healer or someone, but not exactly the most appealing unit to summon. And then blue, there's Camilla, but again, if you wait long enough, we're probably going to see a rerun of the New Year's banner.
Wait,
Legendary
you said blue,
Realm.
right?
I mean red, did I say blue?
Yeah.
I don't know. Reds. Legendary Ryoma, he's definitely can be a solid offensive unit, but again, if you already have him and aren't planning to +10 him, it's pretty awkward. And Chrom, he's definitely a solid unit. Like, when I got pity broken by him, when I was summoning for Hector, he's definitely great for Arena Assault for me, because you see dragons all the time, and he has Sealed Falchion and Fury in his kit with Chill Defense, which are all super solid skills, and Sword Valor if you don't have that and really want that for some reason. So, and he has Ether if you're really desperate for fodder, but I don't recommend it.
Please don't suggest that. Please don't.
I definitely don't recommend it, even though I haven't pulled any Ether fodder for months. I'm just waiting. Yeah, red's okay just in general, but there's nothing that really stands out a lot unless you are needing specific skills to build a unit. Like, say you need Katamatsu from Camilla, or Chill Defense if you don't want to fodder off wall art. Like,
so how do you, okay, but then how would you rank it in terms of colors, like priority?
I don't have any repo. I haven't pulled a repo in a long time.
Please don't let repo decide this for you.
So I'd probably rank colorless and blue for first, tied for first. It just depends on what you're looking for.
Right.
And then probably red and then green. Green's a little iffy, just with Legendary Lyn and Lilina. Winter Lisa's definitely solid though. I'm probably saving up to try and +10 her by Christmas. We'll see how that goes.
I'll summon on this banner, but only for, again, same as thing you mentioned, blue and colors I would rank for tied for first. And the reason for that is really simple. I think absolutely the best non-special heroes that colors has to offer is all available right now. The new Hinoka, Kinshi Knight Hinoka, Chicken Knight Hinoka, Bravelyn, still, you know, the best normal archer you can get, along with the best normal archer you can get. So the best 2 archers you can get, basically. And then, of course, Legendary Grima, which I think is an excellent legendary hero. I have her ranked above Lucina just because I think her flexibility and her ability to, like, really buff you up as a really good team, like with a really good team for Arena Assault, is really important. Like, she fits into Fire Emblem, Dragon Emblem, and then she has, yeah, a great layout. But I already spoke about that. So I really think Cullis is incredibly strong. And then when it comes to blue, Ishtar's the best blue mage in my opinion, especially the best offensive blue mage. Then you have the new Legendary Lucina, which while I don't like the idea of her being a colored archer instead of a colorless archer, it's hard to deny how good she is. And there's Azura, which I don't think, if outside of like liking Azura, you should probably not pull for her. I mean, pull for blue if you don't like Azura. But with Ishtar and Lucina, at least that's 2 out of 3. And in my case, that's 3 out of 3. So in my case, both blue and colorless, I would want all 6 heroes. So for me, I'll definitely summon it for at least 1 hero out of this banner. But outside of that, reds and greens, I just can't really care too much. So if I ranked it, I would say blue, maybe blue, colorless, basically tied. I might give colorless a slight edge because I think that's overall stronger for most people. And then I would go for greens and then reds. So yeah, that's how I would break it down. I really don't think you should be pulling for anything past blues or colorless though. Overall, I don't think it's like an excellent banner that you can't say like you can't say I can't miss this banner. There's no way. This is not like the greatest banner you see, and especially with like the summer banners still available. Probably don't worry too much about this banner is what I would say. So yeah, personally I'll summon, but only summon for like 1 hero. And that's whatever hero I get first. This game loves me to get Bravelyn. This banner got me my 8th Bravelyn free to play, by the way. You know, as much as I wanted Bravelyn, I've even intentionally pulled for her. I've never actually gotten her. I've only had my neutral IV Bravelyn since the very start, and that's been super unfortunate. Alright. There's been another Hero V redemption. I'll check that out. So sorry for seemingly ignoring you guys' questions. Getting through a lot of these topics takes a lot of time. It's really hard to like constantly interrupt myself just to like answer back questions. So I hope you guys don't mind that much. But at the same time, like this is supposed to be a discussion stream, so we are supposed to cover what you guys want to add into everything as well. So. I guess the question now is, the question for you guys is, if you guys had to pull on this banner, like rank your top 5 heroes and then rank how you would pull for it in terms of colors, because I think it's really, I think Ether and I hit it on the head, or like we got it completely down as to like the only priorities in this banner. Man, Ether, if you had to rate this banner out of 10, what would you give it? If we rank it as 0 as an absolute failure, 10 as an absolutely perfect, and 5 as an average, what would you do it as?
I'm really bad at rating, so...
Well, deal with it. Put a number on it. That's what you want.
Let's see... I'd probably say, like... Depending on what you have, I'd say probably like 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
If you have a... If you
Wait,
have,
you can't
if
put
you have a lot of the units that you don't have, then
Wait,
it'd be more like...
you can't do that, because you could say that about every banner. It has to be from your opinion, dude. You can't be like, if you have, or if your team's like this, or like, then that's like really hard to apply to people.
Yeah, otherwise, like, if from my point of view, it's 0 out of 10 because I was just gonna do a full circle and then that's it, just for
Okay.
fodder. That's my take on it.
God damn, I didn't think it would be that harsh. Vic says, cheer 10, I give this banner, give me another Cordy out of 10. A lot of you guys are rating it pretty low. 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 4 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10, 4 out of 10, 6 for 7, 4 out of 10. These ratings are kind of arbitrary. 5 out of 10 is, if we keep 5 out of 10 as an average, then this is below average. And I would generally agree, but there's a Azura here, so I'm giving it out a 6 out of 10. Guys, if Azura wasn't on this banner, I probably wouldn't be pulling on it. And let's be clear here, you don't need another Azura. Especially in my case when I've had a Azura plus 3. So, but in my case, because it fits my criteria, for me, I only pull on Legendary Banner if there's two colors I want to pull on. And in this case, there's 2 colors with 3 out of 3 here, 6 out of 6 heroes available that I want. So, for that reason, it's 6 out of 10. But again, these ratings are like personal ratings. They're supposed to be kind of biased, so don't take it the wrong way. But yeah, ultimately, I don't think it's a bad banner. I just feel like it's incredibly underwhelming, and it definitely, with Legendary Lucina being as controversial as it is, I don't blame you guys for ranking it lower. I give this banner Nim's not getting PA0 till like 10 banners later out of 10. Thanks, Vic. Anyways, guys, what do you guys think? I'll be summoning on this banner, I think sometime on the weekend. I'll just try and get 1 hero. Honestly, my focus is still this banner. There's 9 days left. So I'll try and get 100 orbs for this banner. But yeah, basically I'll just summon on Legendary Heroes banner until I get 1 hero, and that'll be it for me. Sketchy Summer is what I'm gonna focus on. If I gather all the orbs I can possibly get, I think I'll have 150, so it's not that bad. This isn't a bad banner by any stretch. You're correct. I really think it's hard to say any Legendary banner is actually bad. I just think most Legendary banners are just pretty damn good.
Well, yeah, especially for newer players who don't have many 5 stars. There's definitely units on here that'd be good for a newer player to have. But like for me personally, there's no real reason for me to summon on this one, so it's just skippable for me. I pretty much just free summon full circle on legendary banners because there's a chance you could get a better chance you could probably get a 5-star. And it's just decent orb value, 5 units for 15 orbs. So
Right.
I mostly just summon for fodder.
I think I'm gonna hope for just to get a hero from there, and I'll just call a really quick summoning. All right, I guess the last thing we can talk about is what you think about the new tier 21, because I already heard your thoughts on it.
Yeah, tier 21. So I had to do a bit of more reading to make sure I understand what the heck's going on. So with the new changes in arena, we're going to have tier 21 coming. So the arena change happens on the 13th of August, but tier 21 I think shows up on August 20th because people actually have to get in first. So long story short, there's about 1,200 people or so will stay in tier 21, and then approximately I want to say like 2,000 people stay in tier 20. So for people who are already staying in tier 20, there's a good chance you're still going to stay in tier 20. So technically, if you ignore the existence of the better rewards in tier 21, then you probably won't see much of a difference. But if you're trying to bounce between tier 20 or 21, like Nim and I probably will.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be super competitive because we're at the lower end of tier 20 right now. So we have to do a lot more to be competitive to get into tier 21. There's only 4,000 people or so from tier 20 will go up to tier 21. And then there's the people who are gonna try and stay in tier 21. All I have to say is good luck.
Right. All you can really say to a lot of people is just good luck. It's gonna be incredibly competitive, and I don't think people have given it enough thought or credit. There's some people who are talking about it as if, oh yeah, we're just gonna be free to play players with the armor trio and we'll be fine. I do not think it's gonna be that simple at all.
Like, today I was watching Acarus try it out with Fiorm. Oh gosh, it was so bad. He did a pretty good job though. He ended up only missing 2 kills with Fiorm during the whole thing, but it was definitely a struggle the whole way. Trying to get the Fiorm to get a kill on all the units. Because from what it looks like, you can definitely buff the bonus unit to be able to actually do enough damage to score kills on the enemy units. You might have to weaken the enemy units with your other units, but you can definitely do more than 1 damage. But the issue is making sure your other units don't score the kill against the enemy unit. It's really interesting.
Yes.
I'll be honest, that doesn't seem interesting to me. It feels like you're just dragging things out. It's kind of silly because you shouldn't really be needing to do this, but because it's now a criteria in Arena, you're gonna do it.
As you say. Okay.
That's basically how I feel about it.
Orders, please.
But yeah, for tier 21 you get 5 orbs and 3,500 feathers, so it's an extra orb and 500 feathers every time you stay in tier 21. So
yeah.
it does kind of add up over time, especially the orbs, because you can't exactly replace orbs. But basically, my general way of thinking about it is the people who are in top 1,000 right now in Arena Assault, they probably have the best chance to stay in tier 21. It just all depends on how well people can adjust to getting their bonus unit to kills. It's like basically, probably the one thing that would definitely help is it'd be a pain, but every time the bonus unit changes to max out summoner support on them, so they can get as much stats as possible.
That is a really good point. If you really want to maximize kills, that little bit of extra pelt, 2 extra stats, and 5 extra HP would actually go a long way.
Yeah, and...
But would it actually be worth the trouble? That means
yeah,
every week you have to actually like get it to S rank, and that's a lot of burning.
That's like 80 maps, yeah. At the very least though, in the update they changed it, so I believe
As you say.
rival domains in Grand Conquest contributes to summoner support.
That's
leveling
true,
up,
it does.
but it's not as efficient because it's by map.
Okay. Yeah.
But at least, you know, rival domains is 0 stamina, so technically, if you really wanted to, you could get S rank summoner support for 0 stamina. And also, once you summoner support them,
Let's go.
then you don't have, it takes, I forget the exact, I think it's half as many maps to max out again. Let me check. So that was a nice feature they added a while back.
Yes. Yes. My turn.
I can't find it right now though.
Okay.
I just honestly look, it's gonna be super ridiculous trying to get. Look, I'm trying it right now, having Fjorm get as many kills as possible, but this is really silly.
Fjorm's definitely, in my opinion, one of the easiest units to.
That too. She's supposed to be one of the
solo.
easiest ones here as
As you
well.
say.
Because
Well,
after
yeah.
this, what about like TA Alphonse or like try and use Anna?
Well, you don't have to run Triangle Debt Refiner on Alphonse. It's probably
You don't.
a terrible idea.
Well, no. I look.
Orders, please.
In the interest of like not dragging it out, so it takes freaking forever, I think you probably should give it a try.
Yeah.
No, if you're trying to get your unit to solo, running TA means you just straight up can't do damage to the super tanky blues.
Okay. Sure.
And on maps like this, where it's not exactly feasible to always fight units off defense tiles, a blue unit on a defense tile is just nope.
Yes.
The problem is like how much time is that supposed to take?
Well, yeah, that's one of the main strategies is you just outstall the opponent and slowly chip them all away till they're dead. So like, one option that Acris is trying is running Renewal. So you can just, if you buff their defenses enough, you can definitely tank a lot more hits. And so you can just stall out with Renewal and slowly chip away. You can also use your other units to help like do the bulk of the damage.
No,
and
it's not that I don't think it's possible. All right, I definitely am aware of several builds available that can make it happen. Maybe we'll see a resurgence of like chip damage builds, but the thing is it actually going to be worthwhile? Because you're gonna to make this happen, you are opening yourself up to a lot more mistakes. It's a lot more easier to make a mistake when you're trying to just get one hero to get all the kills. And there's going to be a lot of RNG involved as well. So they're going to have to do a lot of re-rolling and probably redoing of the runs. Is it actually going to be worthwhile is what I'm thinking. Because if I have to use Alphonse to kill 25 enemy heroes, I think I'll just not do it. I think that's a bit too much for myself.
You mean 20?
Wait. Yeah, 20.
But no, yeah, it was definitely a struggle watching the first time, trying to get
As you say.
few on all the kills. But there's another strategy people are thinking is to tank the Asker Trio's points to make a more optimal damage output build. So like on Fjorm, you'd run probably like Ice Mirror or maybe Ether for the arena points. But like, what if you were to run like Steady Breath or Warding Breath and then run like
Orders,
Quick
please.
Repose with Glacies or something? You could do a lot more damage a lot more
Yes.
quickly, especially if you heavily buff her defenses. Like, you might tank your score a tiny bit, but in the long run, like if you sacrifice 2 overall points to your
As you
scoring,
say.
but you get that plus 60, the
Okay.
plus 60 matters more than
Alright.
on average about minus 10. It's definitely not a good change to Arena. It's super marketing to
Yes?
catering to whales mostly, because like people might be tempted to like, oh, I'll just summon a bonus unit that's on one of the newer banners and use them. But
And that's the thing, if they just get multiple merges on that new hero, or they are just a super whale in general and they just have multiple heroes that are bonus heroes with merges. You
Yes.
as a free-to-play player, you're not catching up. I don't really see how you can.
yeah,
think
and
it's-
even if you wanted to do like a super support team with like, for example, those Katamatsus or Haguita or something like that, you need to be able to pull them, and as a whale you can definitely 37 speed. Wow. And as a
Alright.
whale, you could technically spend money
Orders,
to
please.
get
Okay.
those resources, but as a free-to-play player, you have to like commit those resources, and you may not even get what you're looking for.
Right. I mean, this is clearly not for free-to-play players. It's
Yes.
clearly for whales. Oh boy, I'm not a fan of this.
People can definitely, free-to-play players can definitely get at least bouncing between 20 and
Who
21.
next?
Staying in 21 is dependent on whether whales figure out how to max score every season.
Right, and that's what I think is gonna happen in the future, where it doesn't matter. I'm pretty sure. Now, I don't know how many people will be in tier 21. Does it say how many people?
It's a percentage of the people. That's how they run Arena. So roughly about 1,200 people stay in tier 21. I believe it's approximately 4,000 people in tier 21 at any given time.
Wait, approximately how many?
4,000 people.
Okay, so yes, you can make it. You can put yourself through a lot to make it in. Staying in, I don't think it's going to be possible. And going to the future, I'm not even sure. Like, from the way I imagine it, I think it's gonna come to a point where you're gonna have to try so much harder than the next guy,
As you say.
than the whales.
My turn?
And there's already a
Do my
squeezing on
best.
free-to-play players as is. It's only gonna add to it and add to the frustrations involved
Please
with
stay
dealing with all
safe.
that crap. I'm not looking forward to it. I get it. It's a positive change. I just don't like it at all.
I don't know if it's a positive change, honestly.
I mean, it's positive in the respects of
All right.
it adds
Orders,
more depth to
please.
the game. Technically.
Okay.
It seems more like a solo meta. But to be honest, like,
Do my
I mostly
best.
have my adult Tiki do most of the work for the fun of it.
Oh boy. Either way, I mean, I guess I won't be too upset with it because jumping between tier 20.21 and 20 basically means every other week I don't really have to try on arena, right?
Well, you probably still have to try because the people who are bouncing between 19 and 20,
Okay.
they
Wait.
can, with plus 60, if they manage to
Yes.
figure out how to plus 60, if you're lazy and don't do the plus 60,
As you
you
say.
may not be able to say it. I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but if
Wait,
people
what are you
seriously-
talking about?
There's like there's gonna be, I think, slightly less than 20,000 people in tier 20, and only the top 30% of tier 20
Orders,
either
please.
stay in tier 20 or go up to tier 21. So like right now,
Who next?
there's a super good chance that we'll be able to stay in tier
As you
20
say.
at the worst. But if people seriously go ham and get the plus 60, and then you don't get the plus 60, you might be stuck out of tier 20. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Of course.
Wait, you think you can drop from 21 to 20? I mean, 21
can-
to past 20?
No. Like if you're in tier 20 for a week, there's a chance you might not be able to get into that top
Yes.
30%, assuming people super
No, I'm
try
talking about like
consistent-
I don't think there's a chance to stay in tier 21. So I think once you make it to tier 21, it doesn't
Yeah,
even
you
matter
just-
what you
just-
do anymore.
You just do a run and drop out.
Just do a run and drop off. That's what I think is gonna
And
happen.
then in tier 20, you have to try hard again to get back into tier 21. And then,
Right. This is super depressing.
Yeah, that's like how it was for me when I was in 19.5 for a while.
Oh boy.
I was like right at the edge of staying in tier 20, but I couldn't. It's like top 3,000 arenas. So it's just repeating over and over.
All right. So guys, what do you think about the new arena? I think it's pretty clear it's catering to whales and trying to give them more reasons to whale more. Because like, look at this. You can have this special hat. And we'll put it on a fave for you, and you'll feel special. And then you're
And
gonna
there's a
open your
cap.
wallets to try and stay in longer, right?
Yeah. And then there's also a counter of how many times you stayed in, so you could brag about that too.
Yeah. Isn't that great, guys? We can brag now.
Just like Frenzy for getting top 1 in Tempest Trials.
Hey! Don't you talk shit about Frenzy. He worked hard for that.
Yeah, definitely. It's not easy, but I'm just surprised that top 1 was only 1,000,000 points. But it was kind of because the original person who was doing the top 1 Tempest Trials ended up deciding to quit, so Frenzy didn't have to deal with the competition where
Whoa,
they get
whoa!
like 2 or 3 million.
Ether, you quiet now. You quiet yourself. It doesn't matter what happened. He got number 1.
It's like how I got rank 1 in Voting Gauntlet overall one time.
Okay, well, wow. Way to like take a doo-doo on his hard work, dude. Wow. I didn't know you had it in yourself to be like that. Wow. Alright, but yeah, anyways, basically Great Summoner equals Whale Summoner, I completely agree. And the whole bonus hero aspect of this game is just poor design as a game, I agree. Like, there's virtually nothing you guys are gonna say that I'm gonna disagree with, because I just think that this is just telling whales, like, if you whale, we'll give you slightly more stuff. And if you, yeah. What I think in the future is gonna happen is that the Asgard Trio and Fjorm is gonna have no chance. Unless you have a plus 10 Fjorm, I think then you have a chance every once in a while, but I don't think the Asgard Trio is gonna cut it. I think tier 21 is gonna be all about I think maybe you can make tier 21, but staying in tier 21, good luck with that. Once you get into tier 21, if you don't have a bonus hero with several merges, and you don't plan on, and that hero's not well built, and that hero's not being well used, good luck, you're not going to stay in, is basically what I think is going to happen. So, I think for most people who are in tier 20, you're just looking at tier 20.5. So, it's not to get upset about, because at the end of the day, if you're in tier 20.5, that means every other week you get 1 extra orb and 500 extra feathers. That's nice. But again, it's like the game telling you they're going the wrong direction. So that's what I have against it. So overall, I'm conflicted about this entire thing. I always wanted tier 21, but this is not how I wanted it to be. I especially just don't like the idea where I'm gonna have to try my best to let like Fjorm or like Alphonse get all the kills. That's gonna be painful. It's gonna take a lot longer too.
It's definitely gonna be a lot harder to predict the cutoff too.
Oh yeah, the cutoff is also gonna be like basically RNG, man. And that's the thing it comes down to too. You're probably gonna have to do multiple runs anyways, on top of already just trying to roll runs for the highest points. So it's gonna be even harder on free-to-play players, I would say. I can't say it's a good thing. I just don't feel like it's the right thing to do with this game.
Yeah, it also feels bad if you just got around to staying in tier 20, because now it's like you're probably at the bottom end of tier 20, and now you might just get kicked back into 19.5, and it feels super bad.
Right.
Feels really bad.
It might also push people to say to themselves, hey, there's a reason now. Anyways, to whales, or like to dolphins or whatever, and they're like, hey, there's a reason now to really try. Or they might be like led into the thing like, I like that hat, and then they spend money just to make it in, and that just could add to the further squeezing. But oh boy, yeah. Anyways, I think that's everything. We'll do the Legend Hero battle tomorrow and the Grand Hero battle tomorrow. Oh yeah, let's pre-register.
Oh, you haven't done that yet?
Is there
You
a
have an
point?
hour.
Is there a point to pre-registering?
They pre-register so they make sure people who are supposedly in are actually active, because there's a lot of inactive players in Fire Emblem Heroes. So if they didn't do this, you might somehow get in a team where you're the only active player and you're just screwed.
Oh
So
shit!
this is-
I never thought about that.
So this is their way of trying to minimize that. But even then, you'll still get teams where they don't really do anything.
Yeah, I see. Anyways, Grand Conquest starts in 4 hours. Wait, what? Yeah, it starts in 4 hours.
Yeah, it doesn't start right at reset.
All right. Anyways, we've been streaming for 1 hour and 43 minutes. I think that's enough for tonight. Thank you, Ether, for coming
Time
online.
for your reviews.
Oh shit! Thank you, Ether, for being my secretary or whatever to remind me. Nim, are you saying we're gonna do a poverty summon? Yes, at the end of the week. Bench Hannah, my question is why you don't Omega Low. Look, Ether, I can't believe you had me read these questions. These guys are dumb. Okay, so the 3 hero reviews will be Blue Destination, Hanawana,
It's your
and
boy,
Asta.
Susu back at it again.
And Susu.
6,917,801,083.
Okay, I'll actually start Susu. I actually started working on the new videos for hero reviews. I think I'll go back 2 months first, because we're gonna do a lot of hero review videos and then we're gonna catch up. So I think starting 2 months back is the proper way about doing it. That way, otherwise, if we're just doing like a hero review video right after the VOD, so people who watched it won't watch it. So, but if there's a delay on like former heroes, I think that's gonna be more worthwhile. Anyways, Soijin and tier 20. I'm really glad you joined the Discord too. Oh god.
Yep, this is like, I've already seen this build. I know how it goes.
I'm super conflicted when I see this build because technically I know how it works. Basically, deflect melee will always trigger, so you're always only getting hit with like 1.2 when you get hit, and then you attack them, and steady breath triggers, so you have 43 defense. So you're taking minimum damage, and all the same, it's getting your blazing flame primed, and then you use fire sweep, blazing flame, and you just kill the enemy heroes in one shot, right? And yeah, guards just to keep you alive. People might see this build and they're like, what are you doing? This doesn't work at all. But it actually works, and it's really dumb. Ether, what do you think about the build anyways? Like, yeah, it's not the first time. It's not exactly the first time I've
No,
seen
yeah,
it.
this kind of like rogue build has been around for a while, and I've seen it in arena defense, and it's definitely scary because the build kind of capitalizes the meta where you're trying to one-round KO units. So when you can't do that, and so like you can technically this build straight up loses if there's like a ton of mages that just go wail on him during his enemy phases, can't counterattack. But against like melee units, it's definitely, and there's also team buffs and things, he can definitely tank a hit, and during his player phase he doesn't have to worry about if he can't kill, then he doesn't get one run KO'd back because they can't counter. So like for example, say like I would have, I don't know, like my Nino attack a Noe and just pretend Noe actually kills because she doesn't, but if she could kill, then I wouldn't want to attack my Nino to do that chip damage because she'd get killed, and that's not what you want. So with this kind of build, you can basically deal safe damage during player phase, and you can just tank enemy phase, so it's really cool. But yeah, since it's also a +10 legendary Ike, guard definitely helps out because stuff like Bold Fighter, even though you have deflect melee, if there's like a turn 1 special, and I've seen ridiculous things in arena, you definitely want to prevent those special procs when they accelerate. With like especially stuff like Bold Fighter. And deflect melee 3, it does reduce damage by 80%, but think about it like this. Say Zelgius were to proc Black Luna on this guy, and assume he's not buffed at all. That 43 defense during enemy phase becomes 9 defense, and so with 59 attack, which is +10 plus attack Zelgius, you would do 50 damage, so deflect melee reduces it to 10 damage, which is, considering all things considered, quite a bit of damage. So wait, what? 1 foot? Okay, whatever. It's not 0 exactly, so if you're going to tank multiple hits over time, it's the first initial hit, like 59 attack would do 16 damage, and then another 10. It's a lot of damage,
But you'll survive.
but it's still, you've taken over half your health for that single engagement. And say you don't actually one-shot or one-round KO with Blazing Flame, which is definitely possible, then you might have to do it again, and you might not be able to because now you're at half health. So running stuff like guard is definitely super useful for teching against stuff like Bold Fighter, because that is running around right now.
I really like the inclusion of attack smoke as well, especially with fire sweep. It just adds another layer of defenses for Ike to try and keep him alive. And yeah, people forget this, but as long as your foe initiates combat, you get defense +4. This has nothing to do with whether you're attacking or not. It's all about whether your opponent attacks. So steady breath triggers, and given Ike is naturally slow, he'll get doubled. He should get doubled just by virtually anybody, which also triggers deflect melee, which also guarantees he has Blazing Flame available for the next combat phase. So this is a really, really good build, if not really weird and strange. Would I suggest this build for anybody? No, it's just too much for me. But this is an awfully good build. It's ridiculously good. It's just so awkward when you think about it, but yeah. So thanks Sojin, thanks Soso for showing me. I do want to feature this in the greatest series, but I think people get the wrong idea, because the greatest is like a series name, but everyone just kind of assumes it'll be the greatest hero period version of the hero. That's never been my intention. So if I put it into that series, I think people get the wrong idea. But at the same time, it's really hard not to show the song. So yeah, I'll definitely give it some thought. But yeah, thank you so much for showing me this. I'm actually interested in hearing how well this actually works out for you, though I can actually just imagine how well it works in general.
But yeah, you have to know what you're doing as well with this kind of build. You can't just like do something like run steady breath, bold fighter QR on a unit, and you're good, and you don't really have to think about how to use it that much. It does take a bit of thinking to use it.
Mhm.
I think there's another unit on. I can't remember which unit was built. There's another unit that's running a fire sweep set, I believe, on Sue's arena team. I don't know how to pronounce RIP. So
Hey, we have a Curran. Hey, I believe this is Blue Destination. This is really strange for you to redeem on a Curran, which basically means I think you rerolled for this. Which I think it means you rerolled until you got 8 Lucina. Are you even serious? I don't think you're serious. There's no... Why would you reroll 8 times? Okay, sure. Is that what you did? I mean, it's clearly an alternate account, because at tier 1 means you never even tried arena. The build's not bad. Swift Sparrow Desperation, I mean, that's very obvious. Blazing Wind, you could put anything there, so sure. Flashing Blade, I guess with that speed, with Swift Sparrow, with Thogan, that makes sense. So you get fast Blazing Winds, even though, you know, it's not Flashing Blade 3.
I'm just questioning the Blazing Wind for special. It's alright, but if you have odd attack wave up, it definitely could work. It's just that I don't know how consistently you can proc it during odd attack wave, because Blazing Wind bases it off like the stat you can basically see on the screen when you're hovering over your unit. So stuff like Swift Sparrow and
Oh yeah, that doesn't work.
doesn't apply. I mean, if you're going for the points, you would run Ether.
Yeah, Thone, Swift Sparrow don't work, so you're just using 51 attack. So that's, yeah. Ether. makes sense.
57 if you have odd attack wave up, but yeah. 57 attack with Blazing Wind would do alright.
Okay.
And then, assuming you proc Flashing Blade, it's up in 1 engagement, so it's definitely not bad. It's just, I don't know if it's the best idea.
So why did you even make this account? Because obviously you're not serious about it. It's tier 1. I don't know if you... Was this a 1 reroll, or how long have you been saving orbs for? Because I can't imagine... 40 plus 7? That's 8 Lucinas. How many orbs does that even take?
That was, if you're on average, probably over, at least over 1,000.
But why would you store up so many orbs on a spare account? That's like
Apparently not. It's not this person's account, apparently.
It's not your account? What the heck?
Someone else had 1,300 orbs
I see.
stockpiled.
That's interesting. Good night, Just Sovereign. Would you check out my Luna build? Sure. Alright, who is this? Hinaki, which is from Hinawina. I probably butchered that. Steady Breath, Wrath, Attack Smoke, Close Defense, Safeguard. I actually really like this build. The only problem I have with this build is like... just double checking, but if everything works out, you still need a double for this to actually trigger, right?
Yeah, so conceptually you have to buff her for speed and or debuff the enemy speed. Like I've seen Lulu make pretty much a similar build for his Selena, except he was like Wodao for the extra super nuke. But yeah, it's just the issue of getting the double. If you can always get the double, then this build is just super solid. 57 defense, during enemy phase before buffs is nothing to joke about.
Yeah.
And there's attack smoke as well.
Severa's just really awkward in my opinion. Is this summoner supported? If it's summoner supported, this works out so much better. I don't disagree with what you're doing. The decision to go Safeguard over Slaying Edge is the only awkward thing I have about it, because I really think it's all about getting your special off. Otherwise, you're just doing some chip damage, and in the current meta, that's not really good. So, but yeah, you have to make sure you're fast enough to double, and then this really works out. Or you're slow enough. Well, you don't have QR, so okay, I guess you gotta make sure you're fast enough to double. That's about it. Either way,
Yeah,
it's great.
no. Yeah, this is one of the options people can do. You don't necessarily have to use Safeguard. You could definitely run something slightly cheaper like Wodao, or if you run Slaying Edge, you could run Bonfire for your special, or no summoner support on this Selena.
Okay.
Also, yeah, you could technically say this is preparing for the new meta, but at that point, I would say run Slaying Edge Bonfire, because otherwise if you don't proc Ignis, then you're kind of awkwardly going to, or you can actually run Ignis with,
My preference for this build is really simple. I just say Slaying Edge, Steady Breath, Bonfire. I'd rather take 2 Bonfires, and I know that's not as defensive because Safeguard is really valuable. That's an extra 7 defense. But personally, I guess it depends on team composition. If you have a lot of drive speeds, or with ally support or something like that, yes, this makes a lot more sense. But
yeah, this said chill speed and triple drive speed.
okay,
So, yeah.
in that case, that's perfect. Then you don't need a QR. But yeah,
It's just that like quick riposte would definitely help against matchups with like Wary Fighter or something, but it's not entirely necessary.
Either way, I always love seeing people do her right, because she just doesn't get enough support. And this actually looks super proper with the little bow tie. Well, what is it called? Ribbon. And the Safeguard sword. Alright, last one is Pasta, and then Phase Relock, and then Bago.
This just gonna drag you out a little long.
Night Shiwa, yeah, this does drag on it for a bit.
You're probably gonna somehow get to reset.
There's like 40 minutes. I hope not. Well, I kind of feel bad for Pasta because he did redeem first, but we kind of just ignored him. I am not looking forward.
You were going to ignore him.
I'm not.
Or delete it.
The thing is, I'm not looking forward to looking at the same Mur. What could you possibly do? Oh. Good job, Pasta. You killed Wallheart. As if you really needed to kill Wallheart. She attacks with magic, dude. You know she attacks with magic. What's the friggin' point? I guess if you're attacking a range hero, it will make a difference, but no. No, I cannot actually like this. No, he didn't kill Crom. He told me he killed his Wallheart. When Wallheart came out, he's like, look, chill defense fodder. I was there. So I already had really good inclination it was just going to be chill defense. This is a speed Mur, yes. This is... Should you make a speed Mur? No. What's the point of a speed Mur when you do chill defense? Because then aren't you just aiming for a one-shot kill? But -7 to all stats. Yeah, Res Smoke, Dark Breath, you're right.
if the best scenario happens, you'll -7 to all stats. I don't know. I think you're looking at too many like perfect situations. But yeah. With that defense, but with Fury, I'm not sure if you have the longevity necessary to go through long battles, Mur. I don't. You have Soleil in your team, so I don't even know what Mur's position is anymore. If you're using Mur offensively and Soleil offensively, I'm just so confused. She's clearly supposed to be used defensively, but if you did a speed Mur, she's not supposed to be defensive. I'm just so confused by her composition. They're both mixed phase. Oh, okay. Because okay, I'll just say yes. Yes, pasta. I'm just so confused.
Should you build Walhart or fodder him? It's up to you, honestly.
Build Walhart. Do not fodder him. Don't be a dum-dum.
I'd say, basically, if you are going to fodder him off, I'd say, at least, the very least, keep one of them. And if you do fodder him, don't regret it later.
Right. Actually, I'm not saying don't fodder them, period, but I definitely mean at least make one. So, Walhart's actually really, really good. I don't think Murd has really helped him, so that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, Lilna, Life and Death, Swordbreaker, Blazing Blade, 4 Blaze, Auto Attack Wave, QP, and
Oh, this is actually really nice.
I know what they're trying to go for. Depending on the team, it could be instant Blazing Wind. Knowing Bagel, it's probably instant Blazing Wind. In which case, you guys might look at Life and Death like, why would you do that? Her res is really good. You just nerfed it. Her defense is now lower, so why Swordbreaker? You should have just used, Death Blow. Well, the answer is actually pretty simple. It's just, again, if it's for Blazing Wind, it's calculating Blazing Wind from that 63 attack. It doesn't calculate things like Death Blow, so that's the reason. You're giving up a lot up, but if you can have instant Blazing Wind, you can actually just chip your entire enemy team down to 1 HP and just one-shot them. So it's actually a really good build, and you can build an entire team around this kind of Lilna.
I don't exactly know why. I don't know if dual range would actually be good, because I guess against green mages, red mages dual range probably isn't relevant. Like if a winter Tharjo were to just come up and attack you with Bold Fighter, you're probably going to die. Like Pasta said, you could try a feint skill, maybe a chill skill, I have no idea. You could do a lot of things. Swordbreaker, 57 total bulk isn't entirely reliable at +10 because, again,
Yeah.
+10 Zelgius at plus attack is 59, so he just one-shots. Although you'd probably be safe from most, like, green units. You probably can't double them with 31 speed.
I don't really think the beast slot skill will matter.
Yeah, you can tech whatever you want B slot, honestly.
Yeah, it's just so flexible because if you're just gonna drop them all to 1 HP anyways, like, what does it even matter anymore? Thank you, Aku Rogue, for subscribing. And if you guys are enjoying the stream, leave a like, subscribe, follow. But yeah, I should really find the video where this Lilna kicked my ass. But yeah, instant Blazing Wind is actually really scary from Lilna. It's actually one of those theorized builds that not a lot of people do, but it's actually super good on a team. It'd be interesting if newer players actually did this kind of build. How well does Lilna score anyways? And thanks to Heroic Eagle.
She pretty much scores like what you would expect for a mage, not as good as infantry, but I forget her BSD off the top of my head. She'll score basically like...
She has a personal tone
She
too.
scores 2 more points than Nino if you fully deck her out.
Okay.
So that's up to 738.
All right, maybe you can't actually use her in arena because in that case, even you'll switch over to ether. If you don't switch over to ether, like there's just no point. And then if you use life and death, yeah, using life and death over close defense or Swiss Sparrow or something that's already costing you. And then blazing wind over ether, yeah. All right, maybe not actually use her in arena, building a central core around her, but in arena cell she could definitely lead a team. If we get 1,000 likes, I will not wear a bikini. That is weird. All right, phase relock is the last person.
But yeah, up to 75 attack is definitely super strong. She can definitely pull off one-shots.
Mm-hmm. I actually love the fact that she one-shots. I think somebody was ready for a hero review. It's just they're not here to ask for one yet. So to you, Strone, I say, ha. Fuck you. Alright, great. Phase relock is what we're looking for.
I guess past there's like a tech to where if he somehow gets stuck, he can run out. I don't know. Or he could run in.
I don't think he's actually serious. Wait, actually, you're right. If he runs in and gets outnumbered, it's actually pretty good for him, huh? FaZe, where are you? Did you change your name? You used to be just called FaZe Relock, right? I made a saber.
I just see a phase with a Clarice.
No, it's not that one.
Yeah.
He used to be called FaZe Relock. When you guys change your names, sometimes I end up deleting you guys because I have no idea who you are anymore. Give me time. You know you could have just told me your name. I'm gonna assume that's you because I don't think there's another saber.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys change your names, do me a favor and give me your name. Otherwise, I'm gonna take extra long finding you, which drags things up along. Steady ref, shield pulse, QR, Pavise, sling edge. I think this is just pretty standard Pavise build, but probably not on the most ideal hero for it. I still think this build is best on Soleil. But I guess if you don't want to sacrifice a saber for Soleil, I guess you do it on saber. But I'd do it on Soleil. Soleil just has more attack, more speed. Yeah, I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Quick repress is fine, so you can keep chaining Pavis, and it's just this standard set. It's just that, I don't know, 48 attack. The reason why Soleil can run it so well is because she can avoid doubles, which means just overall your damage dealt, the damage you receive is just less because you get attacked less, and she also has attack, so she can actually chip away at people. 48 attack's not bad, but it's definitely nowadays below average.
Soleil's higher attack and higher speed is what really puts a build together. Because if Soleil can just naturally double back, that makes it a lot more useful. Whereas with Saber, he doesn't have the speed or attack, so he's not actually ideal for it. But I guess if you're talking about like the first hero that could ever do this build really well, it was for Saber and by a guy who used Saber. Saber should get demoted. Oh man. Do you think Saber should get demoted?
I feel like a lot of units
Should
it's
get
about
demoted.
time they
Yeah.
got demoted, but then that would clutter up the pools even more.
Oh
I
god.
don't know. Because like if we just keep demoting units, eventually there's going to be a point where you can't even plus 10 a 4-star, 3-star available unit because there's way too many of them.
Right. In my case, I can't even draw Fury. Well, in your case, the same thing.
I can't draw anything I need.
Yeah. So, okay, maybe it's a bad idea, but I don't know. Summoning Pool needs to get reworked. This is not the right way of about going with it. Thanks, Bruce. Drop. Bruce. You fall twice? Thanks, Bruce. Drop.
One ends in an N, one ends in an M, and one
I
of
know,
them has
and there's an
3 O's.
extra. Yeah, that's so strange. And thank you, Chice, for the follow. Thanks, guys. Follow hype. Yeah. All right, guys. I think that's it. Holy crap, I'm tired.
Sub hype, I guess.
Whoa. Wait. Blue
It's a
Destination.
resub.
Why? Thank you for resubbing for Cage. Oh, thank you. What the? Thanks, Blue Destination, for resubbing for Cage. Wow, thank you so much.
I like how all the follows are just dropping in now.
Yeah, and thanks, Relx, GD, Moe1KP, Shen KRTVQ for following. Are you guys actually real people? Because why would you follow at the end of a stream? But thank you guys so much. It means a lot to me, nonetheless. I'm still sick, so I didn't want to stream 2 hours, but we ended up streaming 2 hours. But I'm glad I stayed up a bit longer for you guys to follow. But still, thank you. If you guys want to talk further, you can catch me on Discord. We have our own Discord. You can scroll down. It even has its own vanity link because we are an official partner Discord. Try and figure out who to actually raid, but that should be it. I'm super tired. I'm still sick, so I hope you guys weren't expecting too much. Tomorrow's going to be a much more fun stream. We're going to do the Grand Hero Battle along with the Legend Heroes Battle. So look forward to that. But outside of that, I'm glad you guys stayed for as long as you did for the discussions that Ether and I had. It was really interesting going over the Legend Heroes banner, our thoughts on the new arena, thoughts on Lucina, and so on. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, do you guys actually like discussion streams like that? Because I feel like if all I do is just play the game, I feel like I'll just bore people. I actually want more of you guys on stream as guests because I feel like it's really fun to pick your brains about stuff. But I guess I have to like really make a system for that because it's sometimes it doesn't work that well because if say I get somebody obnoxious on stream and then it'd be awkward if I have to boot somebody off stream, but yeah. Kate says I like discussion.
Just on a side note, just for Grand Conquest, if people didn't catch it, they're revamping Infernal mode to how it originally was, so enemy units that teleport can now attack again. So just for anyone who's going to start Grand Conquest right away when it drops, just keep that in mind.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's not gonna be free like before. Well, it's still gonna be really easy, but it's gonna be slightly more harder.
Sure.
Oh god, we don't get the kill.
Yes.
Gotta stay on guard.
It'd be great to get passed on stream as well. I like discussions with Casey. Nim doesn't use free nitro emotes.
Sure.
What?
Onward.
Oh shit. Anna gets the kill? Holy shit. I'm actually kind of digging this brazen attack speed Anna. Because there's like some situations where she really works out on. Like in this situation.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna build Anna for the future.
What
For
are you
now, I'm
thinking?
stuck with Darting Blow because I have nothing.
Yeah. My work schedule is pretty random, so it depends when it be. But yeah, in the future, if you guys are interested on coming on stream and just discussing and chatting, like really, this should be like a Patreon option as well. I should actually make Patreon already. I keep putting it off because I don't think I'm offering like anything worthwhile that anybody should subscribe to. But that's definitely an option. Anyways, I'll think about these things offline. Thank you guys so much for being here for the stream.